Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 29th of June, 2018. We had intended on going live earlier this week, and then yesterday was another shooting, which we actually would have 100% gone live about that, but we were celebrating our dear friend's birthday.
I'm looking at your necklace, and I'm thinking you're like Wilma or Betty Rumble.
So is that a compliment? Because you bought this.
Cool.
She bought this whole set.
It's pretty cool. I'm digging it.
So I'm a Flintstone.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
And my hair's kind of up like, what was that? Was it Wilma?
You're Wilma today.
I am Wilma today. All right. So anyway, there was a shooting in Annapolis.
At the Capitol Gazette. Now, we were going to go live, as Michelle was just saying,
right.
But we were having a surprise party for a friend of ours who lives an hour away, and
there was no cutting into that
connection. So, people in your own life come first. Just remember that. But we're here now because we are always here, God willing, at 6 o'clock on Fridays to cover. And this is going to be a jam-packed episode because we have major stories coming to you right now.
We could have fit them all in the title.
Get your seatbelts on.
Click in. Get ready for the ride, baby, because it's going to get bumpy.
So yesterday, I did have spotty internet reception on the way there and on the way back. So I did some research. And
you did research. Oh, what about that Trump flub? That was so funny. What did he say in one of his speeches? And I was surprised that they didn't kind of replay it over and over and over again. But he corrected himself, but he didn't acknowledge it.
That's funny.
Corrected himself.
Roll with it, baby. So anyways, in the beginning, after this shooting, immediately, all you kept hearing was, because Trump calls out the fake news, that this is Trump's fault, and it was Milo's fault, because Milo sent a personal message to a reporter at the Observer who was harassing him, saying something about, journalists are going to be gunned down in the streets or something. So then, he's suing the Observer, by the way. There was 230,000 tweets against Milo yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Now, here's the thing, you guys. You've got to be able to put blame where it belongs.
Right.
And even if you're mad at somebody and you voice that anger at somebody, whoever pulls the trigger, that is them. Okay? But in this case, this creepy guy, who everybody was saying is a white guy, now, with the last name, his name is Gerald Ramos, and I'm thinking that's a little Hispanic. I don't know about you guys. But he has had a beef with the Gazette since 2012 when they wrote an article against him for stalking women. He is one of those incels. And so we do have what should be blamed is the incel ideology, which now we all know is like this guys who are, in my opinion, addicted to porn, and they're so disgusting that no female wants to be with them. And so they get so disgusted with their life that they go and shoot people and get angry. Okay, that's the definition, the loose definition.
That's lovely.
I know. All right, so that's this group of guys. Where's Jasper's food? I don't know. So anyways, he is just this weird stalker guy who tried to sue the Gazette. And he was mad at the judge. And even before he went on the shooting, he tried to wipe away his own fingerprints.
That never works.
They found him with facial recognition. He should have just hacked his nose off.
There's Sydney.
And then maybe they wouldn't have recognized you. Maybe got a haircut. Maybe dyed your hair or something. Maybe plucked the eyebrows a little bit. And they might not have been able to recognize you, Gerard Ramos. So, this horrible monster. Authorities identified the Capitol Gazette shooter using facial recognition. His name is Gerard Ramos. He is 38 years old. He entered the Capitol Gazette building in Annapolis, Maryland on Thursday afternoon and shot and killed 5 people. Many more were injured. Ramos threatened and harassed Capitol Gazette journalists for years. And one journalist had said he will be our next mass shooter. And so we have a theme, right? with these mass shooters that people are around them and they're like, dude, that dude's a mass shooter. I can just tell. That dude is crazy, right?
Well, and we often hear, if you see something, say something. And all of these mass shooters have people that said something and nothing was done. And the blame is never laid on the authorities.
The Gazette wanted to put a restraining order against him or sue him back, but they were afraid that he'd go even crazier.
Wow.
The LA Times reported that Ramos accused the Capitol of defamation and sued, representing himself in court unsuccessfully. A Twitter account under his name showed hundreds of posts related to the case. He was insane, obsessed, and its various appeals. The profile picture on the Twitter account featured the writer of the column, and some posts alluded to other shootings of journalists. So he's like, these people, they can't keep it in, right?
Sydney.
Just like the Parkland shooter.
Hi.
As Mike Cernovich tweeted out yesterday, there was that other shooting, but it was the handgun and shotgun. What city was that in again? Can anybody remember?
Nobody knows because it was a shotgun. If it had been an AR-15, that name would be indelibly imprinted upon your mind.
How come the Parkland kids are more important than those kids, and I can't even tell you the name of their high school?
They're more important because they were shot with an AR-15. That makes them more important. Their death is more significant.
So he included the 2015 attack on the Charlie Hebdo offices, which was actually a Muslim Islamic attack against the Charlie Hebdo journalists in Paris, and 2 Virginia television journalists who were murdered on live television later that year.
Wow.
He waged a one-person attack on anything he could muster in court against the Capitol. Tom Marquardt, the newspaper's editor and publisher until 2012, told the Los Angeles Times in a phone interview, he said, "I said during that time, quote, this guy is crazy enough to come in and blow us all away," Marquardt said, adding that he and other newspaper officials had fretted over how to stop the Ramos's harassment. Marquardt said police could not arrest Ramos for his behavior towards the newspaper, and the paper was reluctant to sue him in court. The theory back then was, let's not infuriate him more than I have to. The more you agitate this guy, the worse it's going to get. As he spoke to the Times, Marquardt's voice grew tense as he recalled his fear of Ramos and how he'd felt powerless to do anything to stop the harassment. If it's him, I'm going to feel responsible for this. I pray it's not him. So at that time, he didn't know it was him, but he thought it might be him. Wow. And now his worst fears are come to pass. So his Twitter bio reads, "Dear reader, I created this page to defend myself. Now I'm suing them out of half of the AA county and making corpses of corrupt careers and corporate entities." So
he literally says making corpses.
Right. The tweet was sent shortly before the shooting Thursday from the Twitter account. Thursday's tweet was the first tweet Gerard Ramos sent from the account in over 2 years. So he'd been mulling on this. He said, "F you, leave me alone, Judge Molinfriend." Judge Moyland was assigned to Ramos's defamation suit against the paper. The Twitter account tagged in the tweet appears to be another account created by him. The last tweet he sent before Thursday's post was also a threatening tweet to Judge Moyland, but it was sent in January of 2016. "I'd say Moyland should kill himself, but I hope he lives to see this. Then the crooked prosecutor can off like Frank," i.e. like Phil. So, yeah, kind of a known guy. So now that we know who he is and his motive already, which is quite shocking,
right?
That we already have a case closed, almost, right? Some reporters need to apologize for blaming Trump's rhetoric against reporters for this.
Well, they come out so trigger happy, pun intended,
right?
When these things happen. Again, like I always say on the show, like in a courtroom, because you can take it back, but you don't ever have to put the worms back in the can. You can just throw it out there. And so they don't mind. They utilize every opportunity. And we have gone live in the midst of tragedies here on Resistance Chicks. And every once in a while we're doing that, somebody comes in and says, "I can't believe you girls are using this situation for a political agenda." And I'm like, dude, we're just covering it as it's happening. I can't really tell you anything else. These people literally have a plan for the next shooting that happens. You know, Chris Holman went live yesterday with Kelly PB Fam for 4 hours about this, and I think he just said in the chat, false flag. it could be a false flag of some sort. Somebody obviously may have known, it may come out later, that they knew that this was going to happen, it was imminent, and they let it happen because they want to put out that narrative of Trump is attacking the news people, and now there's going to be a Trump supporter that's going to go and take action against the MSM.
That's not what happened.
And that's not what happened, but it's still going to be in people's minds that heard it at the very beginning.
So this reporter, his name is Rob Cox, Rodgers' top editor. So he responded to Trump's tweet, which said, "Prior to departing Wisconsin, I was briefed on the shooting at the Capitol Gazette in Annapolis, Maryland. My thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. Thank you all. Thank you to all the first responders who are currently on the scene." Rodgers' global editor, Rob Cox, responded to Trump's tweet with vitriol and blamed the president. He said, "This is what happens when Donald Trump calls journalists the enemy of the people. Blood is on your hands, Mr. President. Save your thoughts and prayers for your empty soul." He later apologized. "I am sorry for my comments, which I quickly deleted and have disavowed, and especially remorseful if they did anything to distract from the thoughts and love we must send to the community of Annapolis." The Rodgers editor may be disciplined for his tweet despite the apology. Fox News reported Rodgers bills itself as the world's largest international multimedia news provider, which reaches over 1 billion people on a daily basis. Editor-in-chief Steve Adler issued his own statement calling Cox's tweet inconsistent with the Thomas and Rodgers Trust principles requiring journalists to maintain freedom from bias. "We do not condone his behavior and will take appropriate action." Jared Ramos was actually charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder Friday morning.
So on Facebook Live, Kimberly says, "Remember, Kevin Spacey cut off his fingerprints and shaved his whole body to not leave behind evidence in the movie Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. This, I truly believe, is judgment for people refusing to acknowledge God and gives them over to the reprobate mind. It has nothing to do with Trump." So I'm going to get to another comment too, but to address that, Kimberly, I think that you're right, but I think it's more broad than that as far as this specific instance isn't God's judgment, but these things that happen are pretty much, like you said, a result of people not acknowledging God. This is what we get as a society. This is what we get. And then Brian had left Brian Renfro says, Ramos is Hispanic, and this guy had issues before the Trump administration. And I think that that's really worth noting here. He had issues long before the Trump administration.
And before he was elected.
Exactly.
He wanted to kill these guys before.
That was from 2016, the last tweet, prior. So anyway, I thought that those were some really good comments on our Facebook Live. So thank you guys for that.
This is very interesting. The police chief didn't want to say his name. We don't mind saying it, but
I can confirm for you at this time that we identified the suspect with help through other investigative techniques by using facial recognition technology from the Maryland Image Repository System. I'd like to thank Governor Hogan for allowing us that help. I'd like to thank the Maryland Combined Analysis Center, its commanders, and I'd like to thank the state police for being so present in helping us identify the suspect. We were able to use that and a couple other techniques to make sure we knew who the bad guy was. I will not say his name today. I refuse to do it. I wish you wouldn't do it, but I know better. He doesn't deserve us to talk about him. Second.
But it is kind of important. I realize that I've seen a lot of people in the conservative realm say, don't say his name, don't talk about them. But you guys, it actually is kind of odd to not say the name of a shooter, because then
this is like Voldemort. It's Harry Potter.
You forget about what happened. We all know Charlie Manson and what he did and how awful it was because they said his name.
Right.
So
we know Hitler because we know what happened. Yes, when these people do this, it goes down in infamy. Mm-hmm. And that's what they want. Yes. But at the same time, you have to understand that you can't accomplish what you need to accomplish in shaming them, in saying how bad that it is,
right, without,
we all know it's a slur to call somebody Hitler, because we understand every time you say Hitler or you call somebody like a Hitler, you are acknowledging what that person did was horrific, and we shouldn't want to do that.
Right.
So I agree with Leah here.
So the Capitol Gazette employees actually tweet as the shooting rampage rages, "Please help us." The shooting occurred Thursday afternoon. Sheriff Rod Bateman. The Capitol Gazette intern Anthony Messenger tweeted, "Active shooter 888 Bestgate, please help us." Baltimore Sun, John McNamara has been shot. Court reporter for the Capitol Gazette named Phil Davis tweeted, "A single shooter shot multiple people at my office.
Now
Some
that
of them are dead."
Shouldn't have happened, though. Whoever that was tweeting out John McNamara has been shot, you should not name the victims on social media until the family has had a chance to be notified. That's common sense.
Right. Davis then tweeted, "Gunmen shot through the glass door to the office and opened fire on multiple employees. Can't say much more and don't want to declare anyone dead, but it's bad." Another horrifying tweet from Phil Davis, "There is nothing more terrifying than hearing multiple people get shot while you're under your desk and hear the gunman reload." Phil Davis says he was waiting to be interviewed by the police. He is safe. So they were tweeting out live. That's kind of crazy.
Well,
but yeah,
that was a reporter.
Yeah, I mean they were reporters. So
the one that gave the name of the victim that had been shot.
A clerk.
Okay, clerk. Somebody needed to sit you down and give you a life lesson on how we don't do that.
Right.
You don't tell people's names that have been shot when they are or been in a car accident or whatever tragedy has happened until family has had a chance to be notified. Would you want to find out on social media that your loved one had been shot?
Okay, so a little bit more on Ramos. He had actually been reported to the police at least 2 times by journalists at the paper, and a restraining order had been taken out against him. Jared Ramos sued the Gazette and 2 of its journalists in 2012 for defamation over a July 2011 article about Ramos harassing and threatening a former high school classmate on Facebook. He seems to think there's some sort of relationship here that does not exist, says the woman in a harassment case she filed against Ramos. "I tried to back away from it, and he just started to get angry and vulgar to the point I had to tell him to stop." After his case against the Gazette was thrown out, a Twitter account associated with Ramos was used to send hostile, threatening tweets at Gazette employees and the judge in his case, and we told you about that. So the police were notified. Former Gazette employee Joshua Stewart tweeted on Thursday night, "I can say with complete certainty that a Cap Gazette News employee had previously told the Annapolis police about concerns regarding the suspects in today's shooting, and that in addition to warning the Capitol Police or the Annapolis police about the suspect, another Capitol Gazette employee warned the Annapolis PD as well." In another tweet, Stewart says that another reporter at the Gazette was granted a restraining order. In 2013, a Cap Gazette reporter got a restraining order against the suspect in today's Annapolis shooting. The reporter, a friend of mine, said that he was harassing 5 people after Ramos allegedly stormed the Gazette on Thursday. Despite having damaged his fingertips, making fingerprint identification impossible. He was identified later with facial recognition. He also had a backpack containing fake grenades, smoke bombs, and flash bang devices.
Wow.
So they actually came out with a paper today. We're going to put out a darn paper, they said, with the names, I guess, of the people who were killed.
Because they're going to capitalize on what has happened to them. This is actually really great news for them. They have now become world famous in the newspaper world and around the world. So, you know what? Leave it to any newspaper. And that's the thing. I do feel horrible for the victims. Horrible, horrible. I don't feel sorry for the newspaper that this has happened to. Because they're going to use it. And they're going to ride this wave all the way home. Because this happened to us. And now we can flaunt it. And now we're famous. And all this, that, and the other. This is in the news business. This is a good thing. It's kind of like, unfortunately, the weathermen, they really love tornadoes. They love tornadoes. They're sorry that they hit people's houses. But they get excited. Okay? And it's kind of the same thing with these newspaper people.
Unfortunately, that is actually the case. And another interesting tidbit. News you don't hear every day. A prank caller, a comedian, was actually patched through to Trump for 3-minute conversation on Air Force One. President Trump was prank called yesterday at 30,000 feet on Air Force One after stuttering John Melendez pretended to be the New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez. Trump starts off the congregation by congratulating
Conversation. You said congregation.
Conversation by congratulating Menendez on his primary win against Lisa McCormick, telling him he went through a very tough situation. The two then discussed immigration with Trump. Bob, let me just tell you, I want to be able to take care of the situation every bit as much as anybody else at the top level. I'd rather do the larger solution than the smaller solution. On the topic of the Supreme Court pick, Menendez tried to bait Trump into exchanging political favors for a less conservative pick. Bob Menendez, I promise you, you will have my vote. I will help you if you don't go too conservative. You know what I'm saying? Trump, well, we will talk about it. We're going to probably make a decision, Bob, over the next 2 weeks. We have some great choices. Menendez said on his podcast, this is how easy it is to infiltrate the administration. Meanwhile, the White House is scrambling to figure out how Melendez was so easily transferred from the White House switchboard to Air Force One. Trump, of course, isn't the first politician to be trolled in recent memory. And
So they're calling it a prank, but this comedian seems to, and this is the first time hearing of this story, so this is just my gut reaction here, but he seems to be taking it really seriously. Even though he's a comedian and they're calling it a prank, he's like, this is how easy it is to infiltrate the administration, and he was trying to bait Trump. This doesn't exactly sound like a prank to me. This sounds like a legit kind of op to see what they could get president. I mean, I think he should be arrested.
I do too.
I don't think that, and by putting it under the name prank, you know, it's like those abusive people that like make fun of you and then laugh and then, oh, I'm just joking. No, you meant that.
Yeah. We're going to go to Sweden for a minute.
Going to go to Sweden.
Because I thought this was kind of so crazy. Vandals smash 70 bus stops in Swedish city in a single night.
That would take a lot of work, right?
A lot of cleanup.
No, I mean to just bash them.
I know. It's like hitting mailboxes. In one night alone, vandals destroyed 185 glass panes at 70 different bus stops across the city of Gothenburg. The attacks occurred the weekend before Midsummer Day in Sweden, and no arrests have been made. Yay, police. The vandals have been known as shelter breakers, according to the public transport company, and said the incidents are not uncommon. Unfortunately, shelter breakers are not at all an unknown phenomenon for us, and it's not uncommon for a big weekend. So, just random vandalism, burning cars, breaking things. Is this your average Swede?
How many vandals? No, it is not the average Swede. How many vandals did this job? Because if I were to go around to 70 different bus stops,
somebody gonna catch you along the way.
How is that not? Yeah, exactly. That's my thought. How are you not caught at stop at least number 69? Or 65. I mean, or maybe stop 15.
Because all the other Swedish people sleeping, police is sleeping, do anything you want at night in Sweden. It's okay. Nobody.
Is it that frequent that the sound of crashing glass happens? Jasper, you've been out 3 times already.
Jasper, you've been out 3 times already.
You've been out 3 times.
Oh, but she wants to be on TV. Jasper, hi. Hi. Do you want TV? Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Say hi. You went down?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Come here, kid.
She's gonna go out again.
Jasper.
All right. Back to the Annapolis thing. The hatred. I just want to kind of. I think I glossed over it a little bit too much. The hatred and the vitriol that came out against Trump by the journalist,
right away,
they're inciting violence against Trump for people to kill him.
So true,
right? They're you hear about it all the time. Michael Moore said he literally cries every day because Trump was president. I mean,
good.
There's a difference between what Trump does to the reporters, which we all have wanted to do, fake news, because literally what they put out is fake news. It's actually speaking the truth. There's your fake news media, because they put out lies. What are you supposed to do? You make fun of people. That's how they lose their power.
Right.
When somebody is incredible evil, you either go after them violently. The best thing Trump has done, and his best weapon, is humor. Right? But these people hate him with a violent
And that's what we find, and I say this a lot, but and I just said this to a friend, or a group of friends yesterday, that when the right disagrees with somebody, they can still have, and I hate to use the words left and right, you guys understand, it's somewhere in between, but for all intents and purposes, when the right disagrees with somebody, they can kind of have at least a civil conversation most of the time. When the left disagrees, they can't most of the time. It goes to anger, it goes to violence, it goes to hatred. That when they get upset and they want gun control, they talk about killing people to get it. That's insanity. Okay, carry on.
Right. Maggie Haberman, supporting local journalism is important. What happened today is sickening. This alleged gunman appears to have had a long-standing grudge against the paper, and little else is known. But Trump is the only president in memory to call the press the enemy of the people. It's so weird. It's so weird.
They are the enemy of the people. I'm sorry, it's just true.
The little blue check marks. It said, no, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying merely that it's time to stop pretending the war on the press started with Trump. He escalated, but it was supported in one way or another by more establishment politicians and not on both sides of the aisle. Sarah Sanders says, I strongly condemn the evil act of senseless violence in Annapolis. And somebody says, does this mean the White House will stop inciting violence by calling the media the enemy of the people, and you'll stop hurling childish insults at reporters from the august position that you have the privilege to hold fleetingly? Jim Acosta does, after all, comprehend sentences. And so every day, all day long, you have them acting like children, acting like babies. Here is CNN. Jim Acosta's lying. Trump tweeted out a statement 30 minutes before Acosta posted this fake news. No statement from Trump on the Annapolis shooting.
Dale Jones, how come your Swedish always sounds like the Muppet Swedish Chef? Because that's where we learned it.
Yep.
No, we actually learned it from our grandpa, who sounded just like the Swedish Chef, and he was Swedish.
Yeah. So, Laura Ingraham said that those who promote non-violently heckling of political opponents in public would have blood on their hands if a Trump aide got hurt. Trump calls U.S. media the enemy of the people, but by Ingram's standards, how does he not have blood on his hands? This is another blue check mark. Another blue check mark. Your boss, President Trump, the news media, is the enemy of the people. This is what happens when the real Donald Trump calls journalists the enemy of the people. Blood on his hands, blood on his hands, blood on hands. For over and over, all these blue check mark people just like, I won't even read him. F it, F him, let's go. Journalists got killed today.
They have been waiting for this for so long. Mm-hmm. These journalists were happy that this happened so that they could say that regardless of whether it was true or not.
So crazy.
They are insane. They are the bloodthirsty ones. And they are, I'm sorry, MSM, you are the enemy of the people. And It is okay for Trump to tell the people, the MSM that's lying to you is your enemy. Anyone, my mama would say this. Come on, people, your mama should say it too. Anybody that would lie to you is your enemy.
Right. So we have this absolute insanity on the left, and it's been happening since Trump got elected. It's absolutely hilarious. The memes that went out when Justice Kennedy retired were hilarious. And I was tweeting back and forth with one of our viewers, Carlin, on there, and just saying, it's not good to gloat, but it's absolutely hilarious because it's like when you see somebody crying over, like, you're 2 feet in water, just stand up. Okay? And like Michelle and Mom were being hit by waves a few years ago.
I knew that you were
There wasn't even 2 feet of water. It was like 6 inches.
Did you say a few years ago?
That's when we were teenagers.
How long ago was it? I'm thinking it was like 1997, a few years ago.
Many moons.
21 years ago.
Stop.
A few years ago. Tell the story.
Now
you've
really
already got
young.
them started.
I'm young, and so teenage years are just a few years ago.
Right.
In my mind.
A few years ago.
All right. A few years ago, we were in Florida swimming. Mom and Michelle were being stuck by waves at like 6 inches. Like they couldn't get up. Like crying for help.
It was not. It was like 2 feet at least of waves.
No, it was 6 inches of water. When I got there, I'm like standing there. It's not even covering my ankles. It's like stand up. So anyways,
this is the story that I remember. I'm drowning and choking on salt water, and my sister is on the beach laughing. That's the way that I remember that going.
So this is what's happening. There's nothing wrong with the left. There's nothing bad happening to them. All right. And so when Kennedy retires, they're going crazy. When the cake baker is not, when his case is dropped, I'm laughing that they're going crazy.
Yes.
Okay. When the Supreme Court finally ruled, as they should have, that you cannot force union dues. That's a huge victory for libertarians. And the dissenting judge, some chick, I don't know all their names, which one it was. The girl with the dark-headed lady with the short hair, not Ginsburg, the other one. All of them look the same to me in my mind. They're all like a weird feminist, like masculinity.
Are you going to go into your rant about how most feminists are ugly?
They all look like witches to me. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If you
look up witch do the face
in the dictionary, you'll find her face.
You were doing the face.
My name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Can't even say my name. I am 126 years old, but I will hold on until my last breath.
Oh my gosh!
Because I know my vote means everything to you, and I must sit here.
It's
so
like
it
really is
to kill more babies.
The power, like they just want that power. I want the power. They won't let it go. It's like the Lord of the Rings. That's a really great face.
That's what she looks like. So on the left, we have this craziness, and you had Maxine Waters saying, wherever you see somebody, I don't know, any Trump supporter, any.
Oh my gosh! Are we going to play any of that footage?
We already have.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy Maxine. I'm pretty sure
I feel like we didn't, because that just happened this week and we haven't been live since
Sunday. I don't know. No, we. I think it was last week that she did that.
It was not last week.
It's been a while that
Let's
Crazy
argue
Maxine.
about it right now. This is this week's news and we haven't gone live
Crazy
since Sunday.
Maxine. You can bring up Crazy. You can say it again. Crazy Maxine.
They all know what she sounds like.
She calls for going after all these people. Blah blah blah. And
no, they are calling, and the entire left is kind of calling for this now. It doesn't matter where you see a Trump supporter, and it kind of was started because of what happened with Sarah Huckabee Sanders at I want to call it the Red Robin, the Red Hen, where they kicked her out just because she works for Trump.
Right.
And everybody's so excited about this on the left, and they're kind of saying, run with that. Wherever you see a Trump supporter, heckle them, get them out of the restaurant, get them out of the patronage, wherever they're at.
And so we're going to go over a couple of these Unhinged. The door is flapping all over the place. Actor Billy, I don't even know who this is, harassed that monster Mitch McConnell at every meal. Comedian Billy Eichner jumped on Twitter to call for a campaign of harassment against Mitch McConnell.
It's pronounced Ike.
Good, yeah. As the Senate gears up for a coming debate over the next Supreme Court nomination, the Funny or Die alum exclaimed that the Republican majority leader is a monster and that liberals should interrupt his every meal and then some. Mitch McConnell is a monster and always been a monster. We need to give him hell every step of the way, interrupt every meal, and then some. So
Here's the thing.
Was responding.
I would never ask anybody to do that. There are better ways to win the fight.
Mm-hmm. I remember last week, actor Tom Arnold told his fans he intended to show up at the New York school of President Trump's 12-year-old son and harass the boy because it isn't like the immigration policies. Peter Fonda wanted him to be kidnapped and put in a room with pedophiles.
Barron Trump.
And so you have now this unhingedness, and now you have mainstream politicians on this new bandwagon. Now, there was an incumbent running, a Democrat incumbent running in New York, and he lost. He outspent his communist counterpart, this Hispanic chick. I don't know her name. Don't really pay attention to Democratic primaries, but she beat him, and she's a communist, and one of the buttons she has is abolish ICE. And Tucker Carlson was talking about this last night. If you abolish ICE, no one will be deported. Criminals won't be deported. What you're saying is we would rather have criminals stay here.
Right.
And I got a notification today, and I've been hearing about it, and you guys are probably your states are probably rolling this out as well, where you have to have a compliant driver's license.
Oh my gosh.
By 2020.
No, compliant card.
In order, well, it's a compliant driver. It's a driver's license.
But it's called the compliant card or something.
In order to fly commercially, or a standard driver's license and a passport. Now, in Ohio, we normally get our driver's license that day. It's going to take 10 days for you to be issued
your compliance card.
Well, either of them, but especially the compliant one. And you have to prove where your residency with 2 forms of documents, which would be fine for a lot of people who have electric bills. But if you are living off the grid, if you're living with somebody, you might not have the 2 forms of documentation to prove your residency. So, besides your driver's license, right?
When I went to get a bank account in 2004 or 5, something like that, I hadn't had a bank account in my name since I was like 12. And I went to get a bank account, and Chase Bank literally would not give me a bank account without these specific 2 forms of identification. They're touting this whole, it's the Patriot Act, whatever. You can thank George Bush for that. And I didn't have them.
Right.
I had a driver's license, and I had my birth certificate, and I had my Social Security card. I'm old-fashioned. That should get you what you need.
Right.
But they needed a credit card, which I did not have because we didn't believe in credit. We still don't. But we have credit cards now. But at the time, we didn't have any credit cards at all, and I didn't have one in my name. I needed a credit card, or I needed a utility bill in my name. And I'm like, I'm living with my grandmother. I don't have a utility in my name. So it's not that far-fetched. U.S. Bank gave me a bank account, by the way, just so you know.
New rallying call for 2020. Democrats abolish ICE. And we're seeing that there were these 600 women wrapped in foil. That's a picture on our thumbnail today. Trying to shut down an ICE facility. There were rallies all over the place. Several prominent Democrats who are mulling a bid for the House in 2020 sought to bolster their progressive credentials this week by calling for major changes to immigration enforcement. So, why did I bring up the license? They're trying to make us like more compliant. Legal citizens who do the right thing. You need more forms of identification.
Exactly. And yet, if you're coming here illegally, come on in. You don't need any kind of papers. You don't need anything. Just,
they're
we're not
giving
going to enforce
sanctuary
anything.
city status
Yes.
to illegals. They're letting people go who commit crimes that are more drunk drivers.
Right.
Misdemeanor type crimes, things like that. But you and I, in order to get on an airplane now,
we need a compliance card. I told Leah, our name is Resistance Chicks. We can't exactly get a compliance card. I don't think that's, they're contradictory terms.
So Senator Kristen Gillibrand of New York, communists, a.k.a., said the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, has become a deportation force. That's what Immigration and Customs Enforcement is. If you don't come in the right way,
you got to go
deport
home.
You. That's their job. That's what they were created to do.
Now, but they aren't going in, banging on doors,
right,
looking for illegals to send home. They get sent home when they are apprehended for some reason.
Or they're on a list.
Or they're on a list. It's not like one of these things where they're just going and ripping babies from their mother's arms and
they're not
go back to Mexico.
Yeah. You should get rid of it, start over, reimagine it, and build something that actually works. Her comments follow similar sentiments expressed by Senator Kamala Harris of California, who they're trying to maybe have her run for president. It's probably no, not going to happen. Try it. Do try it.
Laddie Daddy says, I am British ex-army and I'm still struggling to get into the States. Maybe I should head into the States via Mexico.
Try it. You'll get in.
Good idea.
The interviews with multiple outlets, she has said the government maybe or probably should start from scratch. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who sought the Democratic nomination, is mulling another run, has stopped short of his colleagues called to dismantle ICE, but also has been quick to note his vote opposing the 2002 law that paved the way for ICE to replace the old Immigration and Naturalization Service. Housed within the Department of Homeland Security, ICE is in charge of executing hundreds of federal immigration statuses. So we have this crazy... unhinged craziness. New York Democratic Senator Gillibrand and New York Mayor de Blasio. It was once an idea regulated to the far left, but the liberal push to abolish the federal agency that enforces federal immigration laws is going mainstream. Now, we are small government. We're libertarians. Our people, our founding fathers, they're like, if you're going to have taxes,
yeah,
if you're going to have a federal government,
mm-hmm.
the major role of a federal government, according to our founding fathers, is one thing and one thing only. The major is to protect the people from an outside force. The federal government's major role is to protect you and I. That's why they can have a military. That's why we have a navy. And that's why we have ICE.
Right.
Okay? Because we have a southern border that we didn't really have to enforce in 1776.
Right.
We had that Alamo thing and the Texas thing going on.
But now the federal government is there to make sure that you have a compliance card and that you are not able to leave your country or fly anywhere within your country without your compliance card.
Bingo, but other people can come into your country without no compliance card. We don't know who these people are. We don't know what they've committed.
We are the American government. You must have your compliance card. If you are not compliant, you cannot fly it.
So WikiLeaks last week published a list of ICE agents' addresses and their personal info. It was publicly available, but somebody compiled it all.
Okay.
And it wasn't necessarily doxing, which is secret information, private information coming out. However, Julian Assange is not in charge. And the question is, what's the point? Unless you were telling people to harass the ICE agents and go to their home and harass their children.
Right.
Why would you put out their... So somebody at WikiLeaks is some sort of Bernie Sanders progressive crazy commie.
Which is not surprising.
Exactly. So you have this craziness. Bill de Blasio saying every country needs responsible law enforcement on their borders. ICE is not reasonable law enforcement. Reasonable law enforcement, according to him, is if you have illegal people here, they've already broken the law, and they have a DUI, then we just keep it on down low and let you go. Down low, let you go. Reasonable? No, not reasonable. Not reasonable. And I'm loving this, baby. Because they don't know what to do. See, the conservative movement, as much as there's like a little, bickering between a Milo and a Ben Shapiro and a Candace Owens and everybody's like, Alex Jones, Pariah, stay away from him. But then they watch him.
Of course they do.
Even, I noticed this about Tucker. Tucker will have Roger Stone on and talk to him like he's an equal, but he'll laugh about Alex Jones. Like, dude, Roger Stone is Alex. They run a show together.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. He's like his best friend. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to me. So, to keep up face, you have to diss Alex Jones. I get it. But anyways, on the libertarian, anybody, and we talk about this, right of Bolshevik
Stalin.
Revolution, right
Yeah.
of Stalin. We're all together because we're like, okay, we'll do your gay marriage thing, whatever. Okay, just don't make us be part of it.
Right.
Do your gay thing, gays, come on, do your thing. But listen, if you're going to come into our churches, we're going to talk about homosexuality, but we love you, right?
Yeah.
So we have this whole everybody who's like, dude, there's only two genders. Okay, we may not agree with homosexuality, but we love you. And just like I don't agree with people getting drunk, but I can hang out with people. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a lot of things that people don't agree with what people do. It doesn't mean you stop being their friend. It doesn't mean that you don't hang out with them. It doesn't mean that you disrespect them.
I'm going to tell y'all something here. If I was a cake baker and some couple came to me and said, the guy would say, I left my wife, but before I left my wife, I cheated on my wife with this woman right here. We're getting married. Would you bake us a cake? I'd be like, oh, heck no. I'm baking you a cake for your wedding. I ain't doing it. It's in the same category to me. I can refuse service to anybody if I do not feel on moral grounds that I can participate in the act that they are. If he were to say, can we have a cookie? I will sell you a cookie. Okay, I'm gonna sell you the daggum cookie, and y'all, it's between you and God. Okay, but that is where we are at, and they're blowing it way out of proportion here. But most people that have had an adulterous affair don't walk in with big signs saying we had an adulterous affair, and now we're getting married, and everybody should be happy for us.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What I love is that there's such a group of people that we're just like sane, like the sane people.
Well, I don't know that we're sane, but we're sane in
more
a lot
sane.
of areas.
Like insanity, and then there's like everything else. And so the people on the left, when they say abolish ICE, it's like we laugh at them because we're not fighting anymore on this like we're below these giant monsters, which is what we've been kind of fighting for a long time. Mm-hmm. Who are just so evil, and they're showing how evil they are now.
Yes.
By like literally, they're pulling out all their cards. They're pulling out all their stops, and by saying things like abolish ICE.
Mm-hmm. Seriously,
you're stupid. Like this is stupid. Like this is like retarded. Like
has anybody seen the demonstration of the guy with the is it marbles or gumballs or whatever, where he talks about immigration, and I'm not even going to try to explain it. You'll just have to go find it. But he talks about how you can't have the flood of migrants coming into your country at the levels that they are currently at, or at the levels that is desired.
Right.
It's impossible. The idea that that's what people want, their ignorance is immeasurable because they don't know what they're asking.
So let me play for you this ICE agent.
Your entire life to law enforcement to see how quickly those police in downtown Annapolis were able to get there and save those lives. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, it's law enforcement. They should be respected. These men and women run toward danger when everybody else is running away, and that's why I've been sickened the last couple of months about the attack on ICE officers. Also, American heroes that strap a gun to their hip every day are being vilified by members of Congress and the media. So this yesterday was an example of what law enforcement officers step on that line and put themselves at risk. So they should be respecting law enforcement across the board rather than vilifying them.
When you see these protesters, 500 arrested inside a Capitol office building on Thursday, you see celebrities saying we need to abolish ICE. What is your reaction to the threats against your agency?
They need to educate themselves. I mean, this protest yesterday, they're protesting about family separations on the border. ICE doesn't separate families on the border. That's the Border Patrol. We're a different agency. So they need to get their facts straight and inform themselves what's actually happening and understand there's two different agencies, two different missions. Border Patrol does this and ICE does this. So first thing they do is need to educate themselves. Now, I'm not throwing Border Patrol under the bus. I think they're doing what they need to do. When you prosecute an illegal alien and they're with a child, you're going to be separated. The same thing happens to U.S. citizens all across this country. When you arrest a parent and you put them in jail, many times that child has to go to Child Protective Services if there's no one there to protect them. So what these open borders people want, they want better rules for illegal alien families than we have for U.S. citizen families.
Oh, mic drop.
So I understand that there's more and more communities who are terminating their contract with ICE because of people like Senator Kamala Harris calling for its elimination, including Texas City, over in Sacramento, over in Virginia. What's your reaction to them terminating their lucrative contracts with ICE? These are an effort to crack down on illegals amongst us.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I want to get back to family separations just for a moment. If the American public wants to know who to blame for family separations, the first people that need to blame is Congress. We went up to the Hill several months ago and told them what the loopholes were about the Florida Settlement Agreement. We said, you can fix this. If we can fix the Florida Settlement Agreement, we can keep the families together in a family facility till they see a judge. But they failed to fix it. They don't want to fix it, so we're doing Operation on the Border, what Congress failed to do. So members of Congress are upset about family separations. They need to look in the mirror because they failed their job on fixing it. As far as these jurisdictions walking away from ICE, what they're actually doing, okay, we're not going to house aliens in this jurisdiction anymore, so when we arrest an alien in that jurisdiction, we're going to have to move them probably out of state, away from their families, away from their legal support, just because they're trying to make a political statement. You're actually hurting the immigrant community making these decisions.
Well, meanwhile, you've got some on the political left who are very vocal. They're very extreme. For instance, Cynthia Nixon, Sex and the City actress who's now running for governor of the great state of New York. She's in this montage Tom, of different people calling for the abolition of ICE. But she's also the same person who, in the last week or two, referred to ICE as a terrorist outfit. Listen.
ICE has strayed so far from its mission. It's frankly a terrorist organization of its own.
Is legislation on the floor of Congress regarding the abolishment of ICE. I do think that a lot of this legislation points to the America that we want.
This is the chick, the commie chick, who beat out that incumbent Joe Crowley.
To have.
The president's created this situation where ICE isn't doing what it was created to do. It's being used as his own personal police force.
I believe you should get rid of it, start over, reimagine it, and build something that actually works.
Hang on, though. Pause right there. Pause the video. And I know we want to hear this other dude, but so one person there just said that it's not doing what it was created to do. And then that lady just said we need to get rid of it and abolish it and restart it so that we can have something that works. What has happened since President Trump has untied the hands of ICE is we're actually seeing results.
It actually is working.
For the first time. And everybody's like, hold on, that's not what we're supposed to do. I don't know. Let's hang on, pause, wait, hold the phone. And it's working. And so they're trying to say, wait a minute, that working thing isn't working for me. Can we make it work for me?
That's a good one.
Absolutely not. And what really upsets me is a lot of these representatives in the state of New York, which I'm a native New Yorker. As far as Gillibrand, she needs to study the issue, too, because she went to a protest just about family separation on the border. Then she turns around and blames ICE for it, about ICE separating families. So, first of all, she's got to get her facts straight. Second of all, if you want to do away with ICE and abolish ICE, before she says that, she needs to know that ICE took 5,000 criminal aliens off the street in New York that walked out of her sanctuary jails that she supports. She needs to meet with the sheriffs on the northern border about the millions of dollars in resources ICE has spent on the northern border in New York to shut down the opioid crisis and the cross-border crime. These people want to make a judgment about ICE. We are enforcing the laws that they enacted. So you have a congressman or senator saying abolish ICE because they're too effective. We're out doing our sworn oath, enforcing the laws that they enacted, and they're going to vilify us for doing it.
Yeah, and if they don't like the way the arrests are done, can you answer if one of those people have ever made an arrest in their life that even know the right procedure? I do have to bring you to a New York Times story that says 19 ICE agents, without giving their names, wrote a letter to Secretary Nielsen looking to abolish the agency. What's your response to that?
No, they're not looking to abolish the agency. The HSI branch, which is a part of ICE, they're under a lot of pressure in sanctuary cities. These special agents, they want to do child porn investigations, they want to do drug trafficking investigations, but in big cities, the task force members have walked away just because HSI falls under ICE. They want nothing to do with ICE. I met with the Coast Guard the other day. The Coast Guard's having trouble in California working with local law enforcement because they're part of DHS. So it's not about abolishing ICE. HSI, they're frustrated. They want to do their job, but sanctuary cities won't operate with them or work with them. So they think if they move out and get out under the ICE moniker, that they'll be able to work better. I think that's wrong. I think what we need to do is fix the sanctuary cities and outlaw sanctuary cities that are a danger to the American people. And as far as these senators and congressmen vilifying ICE and the Border Patrol, as you said, sir, go strap a gun to your hip, stand on the line, stand on that trail at 3 o'clock in the morning in total darkness, waiting on someone to come down that trail to meet you. You don't know if they're an illegal alien or a heavily armed drug trafficker. Do that job. Stand that post. Then badmouth the Border Patrol or ICE agents.
Tom,
do the job.
34 years serving our country. We want to thank you for that. How are you feeling today, knowing it's your last day and you're retiring?
I'm very proud to serve my country for 34 years. It's the biggest honor of my life to be the acting director of ICE. I'm leaving with mixed emotions because I'm leaving in the middle of a fight. I'm insulted at a lot of the Democratic senators and congressmen that want to vilify the men and women that put their lives on the line every day for this country. Strap a gun to their hip and leave the safety and security of their homes to defend this nation. And they're going to vilify them. And they're going to abolish ICE for things ICE isn't even doing. They're going to abolish ICE for enforcing the laws that they enacted. It's ridiculous what's going on right now. So I'm leaving with mixed emotions, but I can tell you this, I may be retiring, and it was a great honor to run this agency, the greatest honor of wearing a Border Patrol uniform back in the day, but I'm not leaving this fight. I'm going to continue to stay in this fight. I'll continue the fight in the lawsuit against California. I'm going to continue the fight against sanctuary cities. And as a civilian, I can say a lot more than I can as a federal employee. So I'm not giving this fight up.
Well, you don't sound like you're holding back. So look out. You're ready to peel the paint. And if people are going to wrongly accuse ICE. doing stuff, you're going to hold them accountable.
Then
You
he
know,
added
Tom,
that
the
he can say
president,
more.
you were going to retire before, and the president picked up the phone and he said, hey, you can't do it. And you said, okay, I'll do it a little while longer. You should check your phone in the next 5 minutes. There's always a possibility.
And that's what, people want to vilify me, attack my character. I left several $100,000 on the table to come back and do this job for this president. He's the president of the United States. And what really irritates me leaving this job, he's the president of the American people. His success would be a success for this country, but they want to constantly vilify him. This president has done more for border security and public safety than the 6 presidents I worked for, and I honor and respect them all, but no one's done more than him. I want to leave with one statement. For these people, these congressmen that want to vilify the heroes that work for Border Patrol and for ICE, we're not asking you to cut us any slack. We just ask you, show a little recognition for the difficult job they do and then putting their lives on the line every day. I wish there was this much outrage about angel moms that their children were killed by illegal aliens and they're separated forever. I didn't hear any outrage from these congressmen. But when we start separating illegal aliens, there's an outrage.
All right. Tom Hunter, well said. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Well, we're done.
When MS-13 gang members or any illegal alien shoots, kills, rapes, whatever, a child, separates them from their parent, the left is silent. You get crickets. This State of the Union address where President Trump actually brought that to our forefront, there were people on the left that didn't even stand. They didn't even applaud for these parents who had lost their child or children to illegal aliens. And it shows that they are just using this as a political leverage, not because they have a heart.
So the Women's March, aka George Soros, you're doing something right when you have these crazy women. 630 women in foil blankets were arrested in the Hart office building now as they chant, literally, abolish ICE. Let's see if I get a video of that.
Why are they in foil blankets, by the way?
To represent the kids wrapping themselves in the detention centers in foil blankets.
But it's summer.
Well, that's what it was. I wanted to see if I could find the chant or whatever, but I don't think I can. They really do seriously want to abolish ICE. It's embarrassing to see Susan Sarandon was at this protest. She was arrested.
Was she really?
Yeah. Arrested, stay strong, keep fighting.
Wow.
So we have, seriously, they're wanting some sort of weird civil war.
Yes.
You have Michael Moore saying we need bodies on the ground. It's just so weird. She says earlier in that day, abolishing ICE and family separation detention is bigger than either of us. If you're in D.C., please come out and march. I just don't know what to do with these people because they're so insane. Abolishing ICE, that's their thing. Yeah. I can't even. This is Cassandra Fairbanks. I was just looking to see if I could find anything. Cassandra Fairbanks tweeted out today, far left bums berate female reporter over her appearance, force her off air during ICE protest coverage. Portland open borders protesters berate a young female KATU reporter over her appearance until the abuse became over the top and she was forced off air. Leftist abusers hurled sexist insults at the reporter while claiming that the station had reported that immigration and customs enforcement could not be abolished. In a post on Facebook about the verbal abuse she was subjected to, the reporter, Genevieve Rayum, wrote, "Instances similar to this forced me off the air this morning. They prevented me from fully doing my job. Reporting on the facts, our job is to tell both sides." So we have
4 goals about a week ago that they kind of handed out, and those 2 being abolish ICE and abolish and shut down ICE as a whole. Excuse me one second. Excuse me, hold on.
Hold on, nothing. I
So,
asked you to make sure the news was reported correctly.
I
You guys
am.
are out here making a fool out of us. Hold on, nothing. What you're doing is foul. Look at her. She's reporting the most up news there is to report. This one right here. Yeah, right. Show your face. Don't turn around. Just doing your job. What the didn't want you guys out here. These guys say he's out here doing the same work for the same people. Look at her. Report the news. Report the news. You really should be ashamed. Report the news.
I am reporting the news.
Yeah, up and foul. Tell the people in the studio to stop treating us like animals out here. Tell the people in the studio to have
They're not saying that. They're not
telling
saying
people.
that.
I have someone online telling me that they're watching your live stream. Thank you. Don't talk to me. You guys talk to me. I asked you not to talk to me. You are work for the little punk company you work for. And you in the orange snowshoes are very tacky with that outfit.
I was like, I like my orange laces, thank you. I thought you were talking about me.
And your eyeliner is fluffy and looks a hot mess. Check your makeup before you go on there tonight. It looks runny. Is that Maybelline or L'Oreal? You guys play.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just recording it. You hear the call?
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but at least here, if we step aside, then they can actually read it.
They're just totally talking about her clothes and how awful she is and how her outfit is awful and just totally sexist, totally horribleness. And this is the left that we have today. Totally Antifa. Antifa put out some comrades, come meet us. We're gonna do our thing, and yeah, we're gonna meet together. I don't know.
I love how they put on these face masks. And
abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE!
Okay.
So that's their abolish ICE.
I don't understand the mindset behind I'm going to protest, but I'm going to cover my face.
That's Antifa. And here's the thing. This is what you need to see. No borders, no nations, no deportations. That don't make no sense. That don't make... What, you just want Earth. Planet Earth. I'm an Earthling. I'm an Earthling today. They don't want cities or states, I'm sure.
You know what happens when you're an anarchist and you want anarchy? You have anarchy. And you know what anarchy is? It's when you have complete chaos. And unfortunately, little miss.
No borders, no nations, no deportations.
When you don't have rules and you don't have law, you have chaos at the highest level, and people will come and take all of your stuff. And you're probably the type of person that doesn't believe in the Second Amendment either, so you won't be able to protect your stuff yourself. So when someone wants to come and rape you because your body isn't your own thing, because you can't own anything with that mindset, you can't own anything.
Your body isn't even a border.
Like the Swedish, you kind of have to say, well, I couldn't, if somebody wants to. This mindset says, whatever you want, you can have. Whatever you want, you can take. And it doesn't matter if it belongs to somebody else.
So does she want to ever own a home? Because that's a border.
Right.
No, if somebody comes into your house, you can't kick them out. That's communism.
It's insanity. When these people go to bed at night, I don't know what goes on between the two ears, but I'm going to guess there's some crickets in there.
Yeah. So, abolish ICE, along with a bunch of pictures of ice cream. So there's that. Here, Senator Gillibrand, abolish ICE. Here we've got hundreds of women sitting and non-violently shutting down the entrance of the Department of Justice. They are chanting, "We care." I'm just wondering where they are, like when babies are aborted. Do you care?
No.
And I gotta tell you, these women, this is what happens when you indoctrinate little girls in a public school system, so that later, when you need it, you press a button and several of them activate.
Kind of crazy.
It's like Divergent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not all of us get activated. Okay, half of us are like, y'all crazy, quit trying to press my button. Then you have a quarter of them who are like, well, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to go protest and stuff. But you got another quarter of them. They're like, yes, master, you have pressed my public school button. I will do whatever you say. Heil Soros. Clinton is our leader. What do you say, fair leader? Let us join. We are change. Let us join these things. These poor women are literally under a spell.
They look like zombies, says Gunzel.
They are zombies, and you people can see it, and we can see it, and that's why it's funny.
It is kind of funny.
It is funny because they are literally making fools of themselves. It's like if somebody
but
said...
it's embarrassing as a female.
Well, you know, this one right here, girl or boy, can't tell. Sorry, no offense. A lot of them look gender fluid.
Yeah.
Can't really tell if they're actually female.
Wait. I don't know if you can zoom into this lady right here. If you can't see that, she's literally sitting there like this. Like, hi, whoever is speaking.
But what about this one with the short hair and that one with the pink hair? I mean, like, you must have... This is like a cray-cray convention. I mean, you guys got it. I wish you could see this up close and personal. This woman is arrested with her foil.
I need a female.
This is them during their chants.
They're like children. But why exactly were they arrested?
Because they wouldn't leave the building. There's Gillibrand. See? I don't know about this one. Should you be there? Is this a women's only thing? Gender fluid people. They're putting the glyphosate in the water. It's messing with everybody's hormones. The boys are the girls are the boys. And you're lucky if you know what you is. Just feel lucky if you woke up and you are in the gender assigned on your birth certificate. Just pray to the Lord for that. There's two things you can pray to the Lord for. Okay?
Air.
Well, there's that. Clinton is not president. And if... Now, some people don't, and I recognize that I'm not trying to make fun of some people who are literally struggling, and they recognize the struggle.
Right.
Okay? Some people don't know what body they in.
No, they know what body they in. They don't know if they belong in it.
That is a thing. It could be chemical. It could be in the food. It's a thing. So I don't want to make fun of it too much, but then again, I am going to. I'm sorry. Because I don't know about this one. Is she in the right one? I don't know. That's a man that, he's getting points with the foil blanket.
Now hang on though,
We got a man in our plan.
What they don't understand though.
We got a man.
Ladies. What you don't understand, and I'm smart enough to see this, but when you cheer on the man there for joining your side, you are saying that it is extra special.
I know.
That a man came because he's extra special. Now you have just contradicted yourself. Wait a minute, we all equal here. So it shouldn't matter whether you're a man.
When all the other women showed up?
You should have equally cheered with every woman that came there.
Do you care about the Federal Reserve taking everybody's money?
No.
Do you care about the prison camps we call public schools?
Were y'all here when this was happening under Obama?
No.
Chanting we care, because you didn't care then. You only seem to care now.
Justice now?
Justice now that Trump's in office, not justice when Obama's in office. They should have added that to their chant.
Listen, I'm telling you again, there's a couple more here, gender fluid people. It's like...
But, okay, they are allowed to be there. Everybody, the man is allowed to be there, and he gets extra special praise because he's extra special because we're equal with men, but when they come, then it's actually really cool.
What happens when the public school brainwashes poor little girls into some sort of diabolical thinking where on one side your girls are awesome and girls are better than boys.
Right.
On the other, there's the patriarchy. And then on like a third, boys and girls are completely equal. And like you see the ads, right? Where you see the girl athlete like running faster than boys. And like I saw an ad during the Olympics. I always wanted to be faster than the boys.
Well, that's why they're making the boys either
Slower.
fat or soy boys.
Yeah.
There's no in between. I have to tell you, the insanity knows no bounds when it comes to the left. This is as extreme as it gets.
And so he explained this whole Hill article on the New York Times when he said they're not calling to abolish ICE, but some people are calling to be, separated from ICE so that the real government will work with them so they can start putting, child molesters and things behind bars. So there's the craziness. But let's go to some good news for a second.
All right.
Anthony Kennedy is it Justice Kennedy? I'm always gonna get their names mixed up. Is
Anthony
retiring.
Scalia.
Justice Kennedy.
What's his first name? It's not Justice.
It is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's Justice.
Nope.
Kennedy. All I know is Justice Kennedy. Like on the top of my head. Like you say his name, I'm gonna know who it is. You can find it out. You can't cut. We can't paste. It doesn't work very well around here. You don't know his name. You're smiling, laughing at me.
No, but it is Anthony.
Thought so.
Good job.
Jeez, I said Anthony Kennedy.
And then I second guessed you. Leo's right.
Making me feel insane on this.
Well,
thing.
okay, but what kind of conspiracy is it when you have two Anthonys on there?
I don't know. They're born in the same year as a popular name.
True.
Something like that. All right, so Anthony Kennedy, now that we got that cleared up, is retiring.
Yes, he is.
And he said he wanted to do it during Trump's administration, which is pretty cool. He actually voted on the side of the other four conservative justices. Now, the left is screaming because he has dissented, particularly one on abortion, I believe, to the side of the left.
Right.
I need to let everyone know, first of all, though, it shouldn't matter who gets put on the Supreme Court.
Thank you. I'm glad
because they are the least. They're supposed to be the least powerful of the three branches of government,
and they're not supposed to make law.
Their idea is that they're supposed to interpret every individual case that comes to them according to the original intent of the Constitution and the founders. Okay? And none of their cases are supposed to set precedent, but it's entrenched already that they set precedent. And that you're not supposed to be partisan. The Constitution is supposed to be the Constitution. Okay? You're not supposed to be able to use Supreme Court rulings to set precedent. Were designed to be specifically, our founding father said this.
Right.
Case by case.
Right.
And in the last one on the Bakers, they specifically said, this is not to set precedent. This is for this particular case.
And that should have been with every single case that came before the Supreme Court.
They should not be able to declare gay marriage legal. They just shouldn't be able to do it.
No.
It should go to the states. Same thing with like marijuana.
At the very, and it shouldn't be a Congress Senate thing, but at the very least, I could go that far. It is not supposed to be the Supreme Court.
Right. I mean, I do. They did, with the whole Bush thing. We did two evils, right? They did have the legal authority under the Constitution to decide those cases. That it went to them. That the Supreme Court's the biggest law of the land.
Right.
Somebody's got to decide in this particular case. That's what they decided.
Right.
So we have had 5 victories because we are losing in the places that law is supposed to be made. We're not allowed to make law. There's 5 that are so powerful. And the most recent 3 that are the big 3 are, we talked about this, the unions. Cannot force people to be part of the union. That's huge. My mom was part of a union. She needed those union dues to pay for our groceries and to feed us. But instead, she had to pay into these union dues. These union bosses have become the very thing that they were set up to fight against.
Yes.
They have become the monsters.
I agree.
And if you want to join together in your company, then maybe you negotiate for the people that you join together with. And the people who aren't part of your group don't get your benefits.
True.
Right? So the travel ban, finally, 5-4 decision, and the cake. And that was not a 5-4 decision. It was like 6-3, right? Isn't it? Or 5-2? I can't remember. So just in the last month, the Supreme Court has decided 5 major cases on the side of conservatives. The gay wedding cake, President Trump's travel ban, forced unionization, pro-life centers, and the gerrymandered districts in Texas all got straightened out by the court, even before Trump's upcoming nominations. So that's really, really exciting. And we watched that video. So I want to play for you, back to the ICE thing. Senator Kristen Gillibrand wrongly stated that no Democrat voted for Neil Gorsuch. So we're talking about the Supreme Court.
Right.
And had to walk back that statement back in an interview with Chris Cuomo, who...
You can't say his name without saying Chris Cuomo.
With Cuomo.
Bleowa said in the chat, we need a convention of states to reaffirm the original intent of the Constitution by limiting terms, Congress and the Supreme Court, among other things. I think a convention of states would be a useful thing to do.
Yes, but however, and I do know we have friends who are part of a convention of state group. I have heard arguments on the other side which said that when you open up a convention of states, you can rewrite the Constitution.
Very true.
Seriously, things could go the wrong way.
That's a good point.
So
it's not a smart bet, because the truth is he's not going to do it. He's going to pick an ultra-conservative. And nobody believed him. No one believed him.
Still got the votes.
He didn't get a vote from one Democrat. And I believe now that we've seen what Gorsuch has done on this court, he's already undermined women's rights. He's already undermined union rights. He's already undermined basic civil rights in this country. I don't think people are going to trust that President Trump isn't going to do what he said he was going to do.
Didn't he? Are you right that he didn't get 1 vote? Didn't he get 3? Didn't he get Manchin?
He got no Democratic votes.
He didn't get Manchin, Heitkamp?
He did not. They stood strong, and they passed it with Republican votes.
Oh, I thought he got 3, by the way.
You might be right, Chris, but I believe this Democratic caucus will stand together, because you're really deciding whether or not you value women and you want them to have basic civil rights.
Okay, hang on a minute, lady. That sounds like Lindsay Lohan, and it's creeping me out.
That was creeping me out, too.
Basic civil rights. I am a woman in this country.
She was talking about the cake baker.
Well, she said women. If you believe in women's rights.
But then she said the basic civil rights was the big...
I don't care. These people on the left think that no one but a single white male or married white male, if you're a white male in this country, you're the only one that has basic civil rights. That is what they believe. Everybody else falls into different subcategories, okay? I do not feel oppressed. I do not feel like I am lacking in civil rights. I do not feel that homosexuals are lacking in civil rights. They have equal rights to do everything else that anybody else in the world can do. Okay? Unfortunately, biologically, for the past, at least we can trace history back 6,000 years. Men have married women. Women have married men. So for all of recordable history, that's how we have operated. And you're trying to say that these homosexuals don't have basic human rights.
Well, here's the funny thing about that, is that one of the dissenters on the Supreme Court of the Union thing said, we've had unions entrenched in our economy. You can't just get rid of it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had marriage between a man and a woman since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And they're ready to throw that out the window.
Because we don't believe in evolution. We believe in creation. But when you go back to evolution, you needed a man and a woman.
Yeah.
At some point, the apes have to be male and female to reproduce.
Mm.
And so for all of history, even if you're an evolutionist, this is how it's been.
Right.
So you can't just say basic human rights.
Right. So back to the arrest. I'm going to kind of go over this a little bit more. 600 people were arrested by the Capitol Police Thursday, including Representative Pramila Jayapal from Washington State, at an immigration protest at the Hart Senate building. This time, the angry lefty women traded in their pussy hats for foil. Protesters wrapped themselves up as burritos to intimidate the foil blankets
So
migrant
now
slept in the detention.
we're not the tinfoil hatters.
Oh, that's so true.
They are.
Way to say it.
Finally.
Yeah, so in a statement released by U.S. Capitol Police, law enforcement officials said the protesters were unlawfully demonstrating. They are being charged with crowding, obstructing, and incommoding. Incommoding.
Where's the word?
Incommoding. Isn't the commode the bathroom?
It's kind of what I was thinking.
They all
so who was it the other day that was knocking on our
vocabulary? Somebody said that somebody said so-and-so has a bigger vocabulary than you. It was Lionel. Probably does, and I will.
It's to inconvenience someone.
Incommoding. That's awesome. I love it. Okay.
All
I
right,
still
then.
think it has to do with the toilet.
Definitely. I am in the commode.
Michelle,
where you be at? I'm in the commode. That's what it is. I'm incommoding.
And when you're going to the bathroom, you're incommoding.
Yeah. Inconveniencing someone. That happens around here a lot.
All right. Police say that those who were arrested were processed on the scene and released. Individuals who want to pay their fines can do so 24 hours after the arrest. Many protesters in the atrium of the Hart Senate office building wore foil blankets. And we showed you some videos. Here are some protesting outside the abolished ICE.
What is this? This is like some sort of... What is that?
Okay. Another one. You can't see it, guys. I need to Michelle to bring it up. If you pull them out of the crowd, they are these weird gender-neutral people.
You know what, Leah? Everybody is unique in their own way.
I can't even. It's weird. It's creeping me out. Here she represents saying she was happy to be arrested.
So I just got arrested with a group of, I don't know exactly how many, but over 500 women, at least 500 women, who took over the center of the Hart Senate building.
Can we talk for a minute about Bundy taking over the wildlife refuge?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Because everybody said that they were crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? They got shot and killed. Some of them.
How come these people weren't shot and killed? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Why weren't they just arrested and taken away like everybody else?
Maybe you want to talk to Jeanette Finicum about...
So when it's somebody on the right actually protesting for something real, because the federal government is destroying their rights.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm crazy.
You're not crazy. They are.
That's their song. Michael Moore. How does Jabba the Hutt have a voice in this discussion? We all saw Star Wars. He's not a good guy. And when you model yourself off of Jabba, you shouldn't have a Jabba in the public sphere. We're going to call Michael Moore the Hutt. You know why? Because you can do that because the Bible says that God laughs at his enemies. And when you have made yourself an enemy of Christianity and Christian principles, we're going to laugh at you, Jabba. And that's just the thing.
You just said you were going to call him the Hutt.
Something. All right. He wants everyone to put our bodies on the line to stop Trump. Well, guess what? You count us 3 or 4. So go ahead. Get down with your bad self. Get down.
Okay.
Put your body down first. And then maybe some people will follow you.
Leah.
I am on a roll. You cannot stop me now.
I'm going to have to.
This past week, Democrat, and we had talked about this yesterday. When somebody is evil, you just take off the gloves and you can make fun of them. You know why? Because they really want to kill people. So it's best to make fun of them and try to get them to stop.
But I want our viewers to know that this is not a normal thing that you would do,
can make
think,
fun
or feel.
of Hitler and the stash. You can make fun of Hitler every day, all day. Okay. You can make fun of people who are evil. You may do it. God gives you permission. It's in the Bible. He says he laughs at his enemies. He is laughing at my joke right now. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I asked him before I said it. I got permission from my mama.
Wow.
I'll bet she's laughing. I bet when I don't know if she's watching.
Mom is in the chat right now. Patriot Gallery.
Appropriate joke or not? She says yes.
She may
just
not
fine.
say yes.
Just fine. Jabba the Hutt. We call people poo-poo faces. This is fine.
We do that, but here's the thing. We do that. But when someone is actually large, our viewers may think that you just make fun of people by and large if they large.
This is my Hitler style.
Which is not something that we do.
Never. I hate making fun of people. Do not ever make fun of people, but you can make fun of Michael Moore. I give you permission. God gives you permission. It's okay. Talk about it later. Go talk to your priest and see if I'm wrong. An unhinged Democrat mob. This past week, Democrats harassed and abused DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen at a Mexican restaurant and forced her to flee. An unhinged Democrat mob then threatened the female DHS secretary at her home. Democrats booted White House Press Secretary Sarah. Say that 5 times fast. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her family from the Little Liberal Red Hen restaurant, which is closed until after 4th of July because y'all. On Saturday, Democrats harassed and heckled Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi and screamed at her at the movie theater. Yes, leftists are continuing to ramp up their rhetoric to incite attacks against conservatives and Trump supporters days after Representative Maxine Waters called on her followers to heckle and insult members of President Trump's cabinet. Left-wing documentarian filmmaker Michael Moore urged Americans to put their bodies on the line to bring down President Trump. Immediately after Moore exclaimed in an interview with late-night show host Stephen Colbert on Thursday that he doesn't support violence. The 64-year-old filmmaker warned that the anti-Trump resistance must be willing to risk their bodies to bring Trump down. We don't have to be violent. We have to remain non-violent. But if the worst that happens to anybody in the Trump administration is that they don't get to have a chicken dinner in Virginia, you can fill in the joke there.
Very
for
true.
Michael Moore. Too many chicken dinners? I don't know. Moore told Colbert, but that's not what's going on now. We're not talking about political differences. We're talking about thousands of children being kidnapped and put into jails.
Wow. Welcome back. Thank you.
We'll watch just a key piece of this, I guess.
How have you been, Michael Moore?
Well, it's, what can I say? It's a great time to be an American.
It is. It is a great time to be an American because we're the ones who are responsible for this, and we've got to do something.
And we are going to do something, and now it's time. We have to sort of prove our mettle here. And look, we're in deep trouble here.
Well, you have a new film about the trouble that we're in. What's the name of the film?
I'm finishing the film right now.
Okay.
It'll be out September 21st. And thank you. And it's called Fahrenheit 11/9, the night he was announced as president of the United States.
Which was my birthday, by the way.
Okay.
And
are there any surprises in this? I mean, what are you covering? Because Fahrenheit 9/11 certainly was about the what we knew in the lead up, what the Bush administration's response was, the push toward war. What is this about?
This is about how the hell we got in this situation and how we're going to get out of it.
Politically, or about do you deal with collusion, or can you tell us anything about what?
It's I can't reveal too much right now. We're in the final edit of the film.
Okay.
And
you have a clip here, though.
There are some things you're going to see things you have not seen. How about I just put it that way?
Okay.
And yes, I brought just a small piece of footage from the edit room, which actually is across the street.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if can we roll that, and I'll just share you.
Sure. Do you want to tell us anything about what it is?
I think it'll be self-explanatory.
Okay. Jim, get it.
Ooh. Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, Florida.
Hey, Michael Moore. We're just in the area shooting my next film.
Okay.
So I thought I'd check out the Southern White House. Secret Service sent me down here. I want to go up and talk to Donald Trump. Can I ask? If you just tell him it's me.
I know.
Just tell him it's me.
Did they not let you in?
I was in there for a total of 11 and a half minutes.
Did they forcibly toss you out?
No, they're not able to do that with me. So,
Michael Moore, were you civil?
Because he's too. Never mind.
I am as civil as any Eagle Scout Catholic altar boy could be when confronted with the devil.
Well, Is there...
If you cast him out in the name of Jesus, just try. Don't think it's going to work.
Benefit of law. But, okay, so what do you make of these calls for civility? Do you think that
the calls
confronting people, say, in restaurants...
The calls that are coming from the uncivil, asking Democrats who are usually so wimpy and weak and, no, it's okay, you know, we'll take half...
You're the party of the KKK.
Leah.
Of
getting out of control
KKK.
here.
You know what? They burned people. They hung people. Democrats, weak? No. They have been bad in the past. Let's just put it that way.
Of universal health care. We don't need the whole thing. You know, that's how our side sounds all the time. Mm-hmm. We're constantly giving in, and then a few people...
Constantly giving in. No, not at all.
Or you know what it is? You fight as hard as you can, and right just wins out.
People want to stand up and say, no, I've had enough. That's it. And we don't have to be violent. We have to remain nonviolent. But, you know, if the worst that's going to happen to anybody in the Trump administration is that they don't get to have a chicken dinner in Virginia, I mean, I don't know. Listen, seriously, if it were just that we had these differences, I don't think it's right to throw Sarah Sanders out of the restaurant because I disagree with her politically. If I see her come into my movie, I'm not going to say you can't see my movie. But that's not what's going on right now. We're not talking about political differences. We're talking about thousands of children being kidnapped from their parents and put in jails. And the headline, I don't know if you saw it while you were live on the show here tonight, but they have ruled now that toddlers must appear in these immigration courts alone. They cannot have an advocate or a lawyer, anybody with them. But they could bring in the 3 and 4 and 5-year-old, and they have to stand there alone in the docket. This is insanity.
So, when a 11-year-old in public school goes to her teacher or counselor and tells them that she's sexually active and she would like the HPV vaccine and birth control pills, and she doesn't have an advocate, and she doesn't have a parent there, and her parents are not notified, and she is vaccinated and she is given birth control and she is headed out the door to be sexually active, and her advocate and her parent is not there.
Parenthood doesn't report these things.
Then that
young
is okay.
People show up.
They'll
do abortions without parents there, without representatives there.
Yes, when I am 12 years old and my mom sends a note to public school saying Michelle may not participate in the sex ed class, and I go to my teacher and say, it's fine, I won't tell my mom, and my teacher says, okay, go sit down, you'll be in the class. Where is your uproar then, Michael Moore, who would say, you know what, you were right, little child, you can be without your parent or without your representation. I believe that what he is saying here is correct. I do not believe that these children should be without representation. But again, like you said a little bit ago, we don't know the context of what he was saying. But a lot of this happened under Obama's administration, and they are not calling that out at all. They use these legitimate arguments and talking points to confuse you, because then it causes people to go, oh, wow, you must be right, because little kids should have representation. Right. They should. But Michael Moore and the rest of the left do not believe that kids should have representation. They believe that children belong to the state and they should be taken away from the parents. The parents have no rights whatsoever, and they are raised by public school and society alone. So he is actually lying about his own beliefs when he's upset about this.
Yeah. It's getting later than I thought, so we're going to sum this up. We're going to finish this up. I want to show you Trey Gowdy talking to Rod Rosenstein. I watched a bunch of this congressional hearing with Rod Rosenstein. He was smug, he was arrogant, and he laughed a lot. Like, it was so weird to watch. But Trey Gowdy told him, you know what? You need to end this, the HELL up. I'm not even kidding you. Like, in the hearing. It's hilarious. But, first of all, I can't even, so Hillary can't even, I can't even. You can't get enough of her sometimes. It's just, you know, what do you do?
Okay, but whoever grabbed that shot of her, I just thank you. Thank you.
Why you're like 50 points ahead? Who let that get out, by the way?
Gosh.
In an interview published Friday, today, Hillary Clinton was asked about First Lady Melania Trump and what she thought of President Trump's immigration policy. Clinton's bizarre, rambling response made little sense and did not convey much information. I asked how Clinton interpreted the jacket the First Lady wore to visit a child detention center, bearing the opaque and intriguing slogan, "I really don't care, do you?" Clinton slumps back in her chair, wide eyes, arms spread, defeated by the mystery. That I have no idea. I have no idea. So I was kind of hoping I would get a video of it.
Darn, I was really hoping for that too.
But Clinton said, "Give me a break. What is more uncivil and cruel than taking children away?" Well, abortion, maybe just hacking, partial birth abortion, having the baby come out, sucking their brains out. A little uncivil.
You know what?
Something
cruel happened in Massachusetts in the late 1800s called compulsory education.
They grabbed them children from their parents and
forced
stuck
them
them
into public school.
inside the public school. That's
And
what they
I
did.
cried when I was a child and I had to go to public school. I hated having to leave my mom. So Hillary, I know exactly what it's like to be a child pulled from their mother's arms, to be indoctrinated in your public school center so that I grow up and vote for you. Well, guess what? I got out and it didn't work.
I'm going to see if I can't get a video of that because I was intrigued by the story. And I wanted to share that with you.
So we don't have the Trey Gowdy thing?
We do. Yeah, we're going to get to that. But I wanted to see if I could find... Here we go.
Know that I think that misogyny and sexism was part of that campaign. It was one of the contributors.
No, that was from September 6th, so I don't see there's a video on it. That stinks. That would have been fun.
No, Hillary, it wasn't that people just hated women and that's why they didn't vote for you. They just hated you.
Right. Just FYI, the Mueller delays sentencing of General Flynn a third time due to the status of the investigation. This is breaking news. Special Counsel Robert Mueller delayed sentencing General Michael Flynn on for a third time Friday. Via Fox News reporter Brooke Singman, breaking Special Counsel Mueller team delays sentencing of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. This is the third time the Special Counsel has delayed Flynn's sentencing due to the status of the investigation.
Blue guy. Long time no see, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
So, you need to send me an email and give me an update on what is going down there. What is going on down in Parkland now that school is out, what the feel is like.
Yeah, we saw that your sheriff got some flashy new wheels.
Maybe we could get you on for a special interview at some point.
Yeah. So last week, Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows says there is growing evidence that the FBI actually altered their 302 summaries of the witness interviews in both the Clinton investigation and the Michael Flynn ambush. So we have that going on. All right, you guys ready for this? Put your seatbelts on.
Russia attacked this country. They should be the target, but Russia isn't being hurt by this investigation right now. We are. This country is being hurt by it. We are being divided. We've seen the bias. We've seen the bias. We need to see the evidence. If you have evidence of wrongdoing by any member of the Trump campaign, present it to the damn grand jury. If you have evidence that this president acted inappropriately, present it to the American people. There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart.
Rosenstein's face on that, he laughed. You have to see his face. You need to hear that again.
Okay, so move your head so they can see.
There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart.
Amen.
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 I love that.
If you want, we're gonna sum things up here, but if you want, check out. I'm just try to put some links in here.
Jim Jordan
slams Rosenstein to his face. We
Again?
caught you hiding information. Yeah. He goes on. It's a smug interview.
How long
I
is
don't
it? Oh,
really
we don't
want to
wanna
watch it again.
Fine.
It's hard to watch. I mean,
Stein, why are you keeping information from Congress?
Congressman, I'm not keeping any information from Congress that it's appropriate.
In a few minutes, Mr. Rosenstein, I think the House of Representatives is going to say something different.
I don't agree with you, Congressman. I don't believe that's what they're going to say, and if they do, they'll be mistaken.
I disagree, but
I'm going to point my finger gun at you.
In a few minutes, the House of Representatives is going to go on record saying you haven't complied with requests from a separate and equal branch of government, that you haven't complied with subpoenas, and you got 7 days to get your act together. I think that's what's going to happen in a few. And that's not Jim Jordan. I think that's the House. I think that's a majority of the House of Representatives. In just a few minutes, I think that's going to happen. And I want to know why you won't give us what we've asked for.
Sir, I certainly hope that your colleagues are not under that impression. That is not accurate, sir. And
it is accurate. We have caught you hiding
Mr. Chairman, can we allow the witness to answer? Mr. Chairman, point of order. We can go to Mr. Jordan's press conference and listen to him, but we came here to hear from the witness.
The time belongs to the gentleman.
Mr. Rosenstein,
can we allow him to answer?
We have caught you hiding information.
So this is how this works. When you have time, you're allowed to talk the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they have an opportunity to respond. You can literally talk the whole time.
Yeah.
But we had a bunch of people in the House trying to stop Jim Jordan from his role that he
because you don't want to hear Jim Jordan lay down the smack. Eric Mathis says Trey Gowdy was confusing me for a while. I'm glad he's back on the same page as America. He was confusing us for a little while too, but he's angry. You can see it on his face.
Yeah.
Whatever he's got going on, I don't know.
So we're gonna cover. This is a sneak peek on Sunday. Come back to us on Sunday.
Sunday.
1 o'clock. We will have our EU European news. We're going to talk EU and European and UK news.
EU and European, same thing.
Yep.
That one too.
European Union
and the
European
Union.
A Hungarian foreign minister. We have a special responsibility to protect persecuted Christians. Actually, he goes, we are a Christian country, and we have to emphasize that because currently under a mainstream liberal media, if you say so much, if you say so, you must be very brave. That's why, very proudly, I want to say again that we are a Christian country, and that's why we have a special responsibility to protect our Christian brothers and sisters all around the world. If we don't protect them, who will protect them? If you don't speak in favor of them, who will speak in favor of them? And they helped rebuild. I posted it on our Facebook page. If you're not following us, Resistance Chicks on Facebook, head over there, check us out. Post other things that we don't always bring to you. And
what was it earlier? And I think Eric had said, Leah, put that on one of the videos I wanted you to share or something.
What about the funny one we never did? You want to end with that? That was
what funny one?
We had the gender neutral people with the funny lady in the room with the people.
Do we have that?
Well, I don't know. You could bring it up. You could try to find it. It's going to be in our Resistance Chicks
on Facebook.
3 days,
Would it be
5
on
days
Facebook?
ago. Yeah. But anyways, there was Hungary helped rebuild a town in Iraq for Christians, and they helped thank them. So instead of taking the refugees in, they helped rebuild their country.
That's awesome.
And I was really excited about that. And he says, I feel sorry. Let's see. You know what? I wonder if this is...
You mentioned Christian persecution and whatnot, and I know that you are coming back, I think, to meet with the State Department next month. Walk me through sort of the religious freedom, the priority that you guys are placing on that in your country, as well as some of the actions by your government to help Christians being persecuted.
We are a Christian country. And we have to emphasize that because currently under mainstream liberal media, if you say so, you must be very brave. So that's why very proudly I want to say again that we are a Christian country. And that's why we have a special responsibility to protect our Christian brothers and sisters all around the world. Because my question is that if we don't protect them, who will protect them? If we don't speak in favor of them, who will speak in favor of them? And I'm pretty much frustrated with the approach in Europe. Whenever we come together, foreign ministers, and we negotiate about the situation in the Middle East, and I raise the issue of protecting Christian communities, the others always want to speak about protecting religious minorities. But my thought is about the Christian communities, and if it is on my fault, I'll say that. So, and this shows very well that the hypocrisy is still there, unfortunately. So, for us, protecting Christian communities is of utmost importance. We have even established a separate department in our Ministry of Human Capacities, which has only one duty, one responsibility to deal with the destiny of the persecuted Christian communities all over the world. We send them money. Bishops from leading Christian communities from the Middle East come very often to see our Prime Minister. We give them financial assistance to be able to get stronger where they have been living. We build schools. We take part in covering medical costs of their hospitals. We rebuild their torn down houses. We give them scholarships. So we try to strengthen them where they are. You know, they usually ask us for not encouraging members of the Christian communities to leave their homes. They ask us to help them to stay where they had been living for centuries, basically, or even more, and to be stronger there. So that's why we rather help them to get stronger in their places where they have been originally living.
There you go.
So I'm on 3 days ago, and I'm not seeing it.
Are you several days ago?
Were you sure it was on Facebook?
Oh yeah.
Did you send it to me in a message?
No. Nope. Keep going. We post a lot on there.
We post a lot. If you aren't following us on Facebook, I've been scrolling the whole time. This is the reason why you should be following us on Facebook. You wouldn't even need to watch us. You could get all of your news from what we share.
There it is.
This is it right here?
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to play this. Oh, I sent it to Horatio. I could have just pulled it up there.
Oh.
Okay.
So we'll end with this. There's an F-bomb right at the end.
There is an F-bomb at the end. I forgot about that. All right. So we're going to go here.
This week. So would you like... Okay, everyone, welcome. This support group is for people who are so woke that they are finding it impossible to have any fun at all. We have somebody new with us this week, so would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Oscar. I think like a lot of you guys, for me it started with the little things. Signing an online petition, going to a march. Well, I mean, before I knew it, I was writing to The Guardian about LGBT representation in the Harry Potter books.
Which is shocking, by the way. All right, Lily. We've all read your blog. Don't worry, Oscar. You've come to the right place. All of the young people in this room are ruining their lives by being overly virtuous.
That's actually a microaggression to say young people, because it carries subconscious bias towards the elderly.
Actually, what you're doing is denying agency to the elderly, which is arguably much worse.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You see, it's a slippery slope. 1 minute you're carrying a reusable water bottle, fine, and the next minute you're arguing that water is racist.
Oh my God, is water racist?
No, it's just an example. Right, how did you guys get on with the homework that I set you?
Guys isn't an especially inclusive term.
Not now, Jamie.
By homework, do you mean having to watch that old people sitcom?
It's called Friends, Lily, and you were supposed to watch it and enjoy it.
Well, I tried, but I found it deeply problematic.
Why?
Well, there's the homophobia, the transphobia, the fatism, and the slut-shaming, and could Chandler be any more annoying?
You can't go through your 20s worrying about every aspect of everything. You have to pick your battles. And just remember that it doesn't really matter, because by the time you hit your 30s, most of you are going to be massively right-wing anyway. Have any of you started to think that maybe poor people don't deserve benefits?
No.
Well, watch out for that one, because that's how it starts. Look, I understand this has all been a bit much for some of you, so let's take 5 and have a hobnob.
I find the word hobnob very phallocentric.
Fuck off, Jamie.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting. I was trying to get to there. Sorry, guys.
She tried to.
I did the best that I could. I was really hovering. I was hovering over it. Something tells me most of our viewers are okay. So yeah, that is really, really, really funny. I was shocked that it was put out by the BBC. The fact that, you know what? When you can make fun of yourself and make fun of these people that you have created. All right, so Heather says, love this video. They have been asking. Oh, dang. I'm sorry. For a song. Do you need that?
No.
You don't need it?
Maybe. It's a cappella, right?
It is a cappella. I've actually been thinking I should play more songs for you. Leah had this song, which is one that I wrote in her head the other day, and so then it got back in my head, and I was singing it.
Explain to people what it's about.
All right, so we had a friend of ours who sometimes is in. She's right here, in the chat today. She knows who she is. We were living in Oklahoma, and she was there, and she was going through what we like to call the healing process. We kind of all live in it, but sometimes it just starts at a certain point. And I've been through it. Leah's been through it. And now this person, I hope, Aaron, you're not going to care that I'm calling out your name. Aaron was going through it. This goes back many, many years. 2001, I think? 2001, 2002, something like that. And so I've been down these roads. She could sing this song to other people. She's been down this road. We've all been at places where we can help somebody else out by saying, I've been there, but I'm not going back there because I've beat that level and it's not fun and I'm sorry that you're there. But let me encourage you while you are going through it. So we're gonna sing the song. It is a cappella. I thought it had guitar to it, but it doesn't. So we're just gonna. Can you see the words?
I know. Yeah.
All right. Oh, the microphone. I don't know if we're covering it up.
It's fine.
All
We're
right.
all fine here.
I have wandered down that old road before. I recognize the rocks and the bumps. That road is familiar to me, but it's a place that I will never again be. I have been there, and I'm not going back. 'Cause I've seen times on this road when all of my weakness showed. My back would break and I'd fall to the ground. But he was there for me to pick me up off my knees and to whisper in my ear that I'll be okay. So don't you worry about walking alone on this route. The road is short and you're walking fast. And remember, I have made it through, and believe me, you will make it too. Just know that His love is with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. His love is always with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. His love is always with you. Singing, glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is gonna be there for you. Glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is gonna be there for you.
You should put that chorus in there more.
Which one? That one right there?
We just sang.
You can sing it again. Glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is gonna be there for you. Glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is gonna be there for you.
Sing it again.
All right. I have wandered down that old road before. I recognize the rocks and the bumps. That road is familiar to me, but it's a place that I will never again be. I have been there, and I'm not going back. 'Cause I've seen times on this road when all of my weakness showed. My back would break and I'd fall to the ground. But He was there for me to pick me up off my knees and whisper in my ear that I'd be okay. So don't you worry about walking alone on this route. The road is short and you're walking fast. And remember, I have made it through, and believe me, you will make it too. Just know that love is with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. His love is always with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. His love is always with you. Singing, glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is gonna be there for you. Glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is gonna be there for you. And a happy birthday to Aaron, who had a birthday 3 days ago, by the way. So,
8 o'clock on the dot.
Done. And well, it's 8 o'clock. It can't be just
8:01.
But we didn't go live for 2 full hours yet. Hopefully, you guys had as good of a time this evening as we did. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to go live earlier this week. There was a lot to cover, but we will be back on Sunday at 1. Barry kept asking me, Barry, did we get your package?
Yes.
Yes, we did. It just came today, this afternoon, and
we'll do it on Sunday.
And we will open up your package on Sunday
because it came via Royal male.
And because it's Friday, and I can, Chris Holman did a stream today to talk about his story of PTSD. And I got a chance to watch a good portion of it earlier.
Check it out, man.
And it was absolutely moving. And I want you guys to watch it and share it because it's something that PTSD, and he says this in the video, we all associate it with people that have been in the military. That's Christopher's case. A lot of us have suffered PTSD from abuse.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
You know, even animals get it, you know, like animals in the military. They can't handle bombs and stuff like that.
Exactly. So this video can help so many people. So I want you guys to watch it and
using your testimony to heal people. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. All right. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless.
Don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe. We have contacted YouTube about the fact that anytime you watch one of our Mass Faith 3 videos, it says we're going live, and it takes you back to the Jordan Peterson video that we did when they shut us down. So I think we may actually get that resolved. Once it gets resolved, Lord willing, I think more people will get notifications when we go live.
And I think we might get put back into the, hey, this channel's going live, come and see them.
Exactly. So hopefully that will, I wanted to let you know that I've been in that process.
Bring some more people in. I think that's why they put us on there.
Right.
Is because it stops more people from coming to see your channel. Trying to keep the poopy people out, as Twitter would say.
I know Leah gets upset at me. Okay, so I'm going to share the Gumball video. I actually pulled it up, and I will put that in the description. However, I wrote an article, and I want you guys to go and read it. It's funny. And shoot, okay. About Trump's speech that he did the other day. So,
it's one heck of a password. I ain't ever going to guess that one.
It's not, I don't, it's one of those like generated passwords. So here, I'm going to take you here too. It's just resistancechicks.com. It's that simple. Go there.
It's pretty snazzy website, guys.
And share this, comment on it, read it, obviously, primarily.
Trump, over the week.
He has changed what we are now called. Because the elite likes to call themselves the elite. And he said in his speech, we're going to now call you guys the super elite. So I made a little kind of funny about that. So you guys can go and watch that and share it.
Do you have the clip where he says it?
I do have the clip where he says it. I can, hang on. I can play that. It's right. Wait for it. Right here. I have it queued up. I should have it queued up. Yeah, right here.
This guy in an intelligent way. And by the way, you know, they call them the elites, right? The elites. You know what you are? You're the super elites. I'm changing titles. I'm changing. No. Look at everybody here makes money, works hard, pays taxes, does a great job. You're smarter. You're better. You're more loyal. We have the greatest base in the history of politics.
All right, so that pretty much sums that up. But
somebody's gonna make a song about it.
My articles, when I write, just try when you read them, try to put Michelle's sarcastic intonations in it because they are definitely meant to be felt. So I want you guys. The reason why my brain went there was when we're talking about YouTube, we're talking about censorship. If anything were to ever happen to us,
we got a website. They can't shut it down.
Exactly. Resistancechicks.com. So
and we can put videos up there. We can do everything.
We can do whatever the heck we want. They can't stop us.
Right now.
All right. We'll see you guys back here Sunday at 1. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory.
If it's a truth.
That's right. We're living in the Twilight Zone, baby.
Do.
Bye, guys.
Do.
I was cold. Every day, so afraid, but you call my name.